You ever bite into a fruit so sweet it feels like dessert, but if you catch it at the wrong moment, it hits you with a mouth-drying punch you'll never forget? Welcome to the strange, seductive, contradictory world of the persimmon, known across Asia as Kaki. A fruit that can be impossibly smooth or aggressively bitter, depending on nothing more than timing and chemistry. This is not just a fruit you eat. This is a fruit with ancient myths, global migrations, botanical mysteries, Astringency engines, and a cultural presence so deep that even its name means fruit of the gods. So today, we're peeling back every layer of the persimmon, from its origins in East Asia to its unexpected rise in the West, from tannin warfare to delicate drying rituals. You're about to learn why this humble orange globe has captivated poets, farmers, scientists, and chefs for thousands of years. The persimmon, scientifically known as Diospyros kaki, is one of the oldest cultivated fruits in East Asia. Its name, derived from ancient Greek, dios meaning divine, and pyros meaning grain, or fruit, is often translated as fruit of the gods. But its deeper cultural identity comes from Japan, China, and Korea, where it has been grown for millennia under the name Kaki. There are two major categories of persimmons, astringent and non-astringent. This split defines everything, from flavor to harvest timing to consumer experience. Astringent persimmons, such as the classic Hachiya, contain high levels of soluble tannins when unripe. If eaten too early, they create an intense, mouth-drying, fuzzy sensation caused by tannins binding to protein in saliva. Once softened, almost to a jelly-like consistency, the tannins polymerize and lose solubility, transforming the fruit into a rich, honey-like delicacy. Non-astringent types, like the globally popular fuyu, can be eaten while still firm, tasting crisp, sweet, and apple-like. Their tannin levels drop earlier in the ripening process, making them accessible to consumers unfamiliar with traditional persimmon knowledge. Archaeological evidence suggests persimmons have been cultivated for over 2,000 years in China, where ancient texts mention them alongside peaches and plums as esteemed garden fruits. They spread to Japan around the 7th century, where selective breeding produced dozens of cultivars with varying shapes, colors, tannin profiles, and uses. Today, Japan alone recognizes more than 1,000 distinct persimmon varieties, many of them regionally protected or tied to local festivals. The fruit reached Europe much later, in the 17th century, and the Americas only in the 19th century. Despite the late arrival, the persimmon adapted quickly to warm temperate climates, especially in California, Spain, Italy, and Brazil. Its global expansion accelerated in the 20th century after plant breeders isolated the non-astringent fuyu strain, which became a worldwide supermarket standard. From a scientific perspective, the persimmon is a botanical outlier. Its Astringency comes from unusually high levels of proanthocyanidins, complex tannins that serve as a chemical defense mechanism. These compounds make the unripe fruit unpalatable to animals, ensuring seeds aren't consumed until fully mature. As the fruit ripens naturally, or through artificial methods like carbon dioxide exposure, these tannins undergo polymerization, reducing solubility and eliminating the astringent effect. This process is scientifically fascinating because very few fruits exhibit such a dramatic shift in edibility due solely to tannin chemistry. The fruit's nutritional profile is equally impressive. Persimmons are rich in vitamin A, in the form of beta-carotene, vitamin C, dietary fiber, manganese, and various antioxidants. The orange color reflects high carotenoid content, which supports vision and immunity. Traditional East Asian medicine considers persimmon warming, soothing to the throat, and beneficial for digestion. Dried persimmons, known as hoshigaki in Japan and goetgam in Korea, concentrate sugars and polyphenols, making them both a treat and an energy-dense food source for winter. Agriculturally, persimmon trees thrive in warm, mild climates with moderate humidity. They tolerate cold better than many subtropical fruits, but young trees can be damaged by frost. The deep taproots make them drought-resistant, allowing them to survive in regions with inconsistent rainfall. Major global producers include China, by far the largest, Japan, South Korea, Spain, Azerbaijan, Brazil, and Italy. In recent decades, Israel has also become a major exporter of the Sharon fruit, a commercially branded non-astringent persimmon named after the Sharon Plain region. Persimmon cultivation faces challenges too. The fruit is vulnerable to pests such as the persimmon fruit moth, scale insects, and fungal diseases like anthracnose. However, compared to other fruit crops like citrus or apples, persimmons require relatively fewer chemical inputs, which has boosted their popularity in organic agriculture. Culturally, the persimmon has immense poetic and symbolic importance. In Japan, it represents transformation, patience, and autumn. Haiku poets often used the fruit to evoke seasonal imagery. In China, persimmons symbolize good fortune and longevity, appearing in traditional paintings and New Year decorations. Korean folklore includes stories about persimmons being used to frighten away tigers, underlining their familiar presence in daily life. The fruit's versatility is reflected in its many culinary uses. Fresh persimmons can be eaten raw, sliced, or pureed. Astringent varieties are often used in baking, puddings, and traditional sweets, while firm fuyu types appear in salads and savory dishes. Dried persimmons become wrinkled, dense, and intensely sweet, often used in teas, desserts, and ceremonial offerings. Now let's dive into some rare, niche details. Persimmons exhibit a botanical phenomenon called pollination variant Astringency. Some cultivars lose Astringency only when pollinated, resulting in natural marbling inside the fruit. This internal brown flesh is called chocolate persimmon or goma, revered for its richness. Another oddity, persimmon wood is extremely dense and fine-grained, used historically for crafting golf club heads and samurai sword handles. Another niche fact, persimmons naturally produce ethanol internally during CO2-based Astringency treatments, fundamentally altering the fruit's chemistry. And wild American persimmons, Diospyros virginiana, not directly related to Asian Kaki, were so valued by indigenous tribes that they appear in some of the earliest botanical texts written on North American plants. From the forests of ancient China to modern supermarkets, persimmons have come a long way. They remain one of the most unique fruits in the world, a blend of myth, chemistry, tradition, and natural sweetness.